History loves an ending. A battle won, a king crowned, a city burned. But what happens when history simply runs out of pages? In 1587, over 100 English men, women, and children landed on Roanoke Island off the coast of North Carolina. They were sent to establish the very first permanent English settlement in the New World. 3 years later, a supply ship returned. The houses were gone, the structures were dismantled, and all 115 people had vanished into thin air. No bodies, no signs of a struggle, just a single, terrifying word carved into a wooden post. CROATON. To understand the horror of Roanoke, we have to look at the man who left them behind, Govenor John White. Facing a brutal winter and running desperately low on food, the colonists begged White to sail back to England for supplies. Before he sailed, he gave them a strict instruction. If they had to leave the settlement due to danger, they were to carve the name of their new location onto a tree or a post. And if they were under attack, they were to carve a cross above the name. White expected to be back in 9 months. Instead, war broke out in Europe. Every single English ship was drafted into battle. For 3 long years, White could only stare across the Atlantic, wondering if his family was surviving on the edge of an untamed wilderness. August 1590. John White finally returns. As his ship anchors near Roanoke Island, the crew sees smoke rising from the trees. Hope fills the ship. They blow a trumpet and sing English songs into the dark forest, waiting for a reply. Nothing but silence. The next morning, White steps onto the shore. The settlement is surrounded by a heavy wall of tree trunks, but the gate is wide open. Inside, the grass is overgrown. The houses have been completely taken down. Then, White finds the post. Carved into the wood in block letters is that word, CROATON. And on a nearby tree, they find just the first 3 letters, CRO. But there was no cross, no sign of distress. It looked as though they had simply packed up their lives and walked into the shadows. The end. Did they starve? Were they wiped out by local tribes? Or did they integrate with the Native Americans, becoming part of the wild landscape? We may never know. John White never found his family and died years later, heartbroken. The Roanoke colonists didn't just leave an empty fort, they left a void in history. A reminder that sometimes the wilderness doesn't just take lives, it erases them.